Damn right. It's the number one podcast in your headphones. Hiatus or no hiatus.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
We talking about sports, get ball.
We're finally back. It's been a long hiatus, but sports are back, so Prem Brulee is going to be back better than ever, fuller than ever, spicier than ever. And I thought it was only right because in case the universe couldn't handle one Cowboys fan, I had to bring in one of the most trusty Cowboys fans I know, and that's my cousin, Sonny Bott. So welcome to the show, Sonny. I'm happy to have you here.
Yes, sir, Prem. Thanks for having me. All the number one podcast listeners, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to get a little spicy with it.
Damn right. It's the number one podcast in your headphones. Hiatus or no hiatus. You already know the drill.
Yes, sir.
Keep those headphones locked. We're going to keep it spicy for you. We got a lot to talk about, and I know you and I are always fired up because our team gives us so much pain. So before we get there, though,
they let us keep our stress high. It's fine.
Yeah, taking
it's
years
fine.
off our life, whatever. But I wanted to start with, we were doing a COVID and sports update, but now it's in full force. So I wanted to go through rundown by rundown, sport by sport with you, okay?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Apparently, hockey was still going on until very recently. The Tampa Bay Lightning apparently won the Stanley Cup against the Dallas Stars. As everybody knows, I'm a big hockey guy. Go Jackets, go hockey. That's all I have to say about that. I'm a nod of that. If it's not go Jackets, who gives a fuck? But it's no hate. It's just how it is. Big hockey guy, though.
Big hockey family. We got big hockey family.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Anyway, on to the MLB. The 60-game regular season, the COVID-affected 60-game season is now complete. The playoffs started, and we have a modified playoff format. In case you missed it, you've been under a rock, whatever. The opening wildcard round will feature more than the usual amount of teams. There's 8 teams in each league, American League and NL. American League and National League each got 8 teams in, so a total of 16 teams in the playoff. This opening wildcard round is 3-game series, so first to 2 wins moves on, and then we start the division series where it's a little bit more of what we're used to. It's a 5-game series, and so forth, so on. The one thing they did just modify, we kind of figured it would happen in COVID, is that the AL and NL are each going to be in playoff hubs. So after this initial wildcard round, the teams remaining, the four teams on each side that make it through will go to hubs. So the AL will be in California, and the NL will be playing in Texas. So after these initial series, which, by the way, the top seeds get 3 home games. They're not messing around with travel too much. A couple things to note before I get your take on this little modified format, because I want to know if you're yeah, fam, or nod to it. Couple things to note. 2 teams finished below 500 and made the playoffs. Those were the Brewers and our Stros, our beloved Stros. Go Stros.
Stros, baby.
Bang, bang, bitches. 5 playoff teams, including the aforementioned 2, 5 of them finished 2 games over 500 or worse. So the 60-game sample, as we thought, was going to kind of result in some teams being very mediocre, but there were 5 of these 16 playoff teams didn't get better than 2 games over 500. So that's a pretty significant amount. So, Sonny, yeah, fam or not to this format in general, the 60 games and this expanded field with 3-game series for the wild card. You a yeah fam to this?
Yeah, man, I'm a yeah fam. I'm a yeah fam cautiously. Coming into the start of the MLB season, it looked a little dicey in terms of, the COVID tests and the numbers. And
yeah, you had some outbreaks too.
Yeah. So, I say yeah fam. The sports junkie me is probably going to say yeah fam to all of these sports takes, but it's with caution. I do like the format. I do like the format of the 60-game regular season and the extended playoffs in terms of the extended teams. I am a yeah fan for it for the reason, that, once again, we're in weird times. A 60-game sample can definitely be argued that, is that enough? Is it worthy? Does it bring out the real teams, et cetera, et cetera? As we know, last year's champion, they who must not be named, 60 games into last season, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs. So,
Right. Great
so
point.
you know, I get that argument and I respect it, but I just feel like, given everything that's been going on this year and the situations and the circumstances that COVID has put us in, I'm a fam to how they handled it. I'm a fam to the playoff format, especially how it's a little bit extended in terms of the wild card. It's extended by teams, but then, shortened by the 3-game series. So I like how they did that, so it's not too much of a drag, because we know sometimes baseball can get a little draggy, but I like it, man. I like it. I like the fact that, most importantly, go Stros. The Stros made it, even though it might have been a little barely.
Amen. Bang, bitches.
Bring out the trash cans.
Listen, I'm a fan because the number one thing is baseball is full of fucking old heads, right? You challenged everything and you got away with it because of the circumstances. It's a sport full of traditionalists. Like, no, DH is an AL only rule. We got to add DH. Throw that bitch on there. They added extra innings rules. Yeah, that's controversial, but at least they tried it. They had 60 games, hold the attention span of every single person. And we got to play off baseball, and everybody feels like they have a chance. There's 16 freaking cities in it, and they all got a chance for a couple of days. And better yet, this wild card round is like, there's games fucking every hour. It feels like March Madness in here. So I'm a fan to this. As far as I'm concerned, they need to do this all the time. Hell, man, I'm going to love if some top team goes down because this team gets hot and on a 3-game series.
Love it. I would love it.
Fuck them. Who gives a shit?
Agreed.
Who gives a shit? If you couldn't perform then, who gives a fuck, man? And you would have thought, by the way, the Miami Marlins should have had a crazy advantage. And, I know the Tampa Bay Rays did really well. They're used to playing with no fans, so they had quite the advantage. Just side note, got to keep that petty energy going as we move into this next category. Let's move on to NFL. So the NFL started with little to no fans. Some stadiums have a few fans. I think the Florida stadiums had a few. Dallas got it approved. I know the Texans are doing that. You had your first set of COVID positives. The Titans and Vikings had to shut down. The Falcons had a defensive back test positive. We'll see how that pans out. It was only a matter of time until it happened. It'll be interesting to see how the NFL handles this. A couple things to note. Russell Wilson is just tearing up everyone, including our Cowboys. He has the most touchdown passes in the first 3 games, 14 of them. He's probably an early MVP. I know Josh Allen's on the table. People are hyping up Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers always has a 12th man with the referees. All that stuff.
Patty LePew.
And the number one thing is a shit ton of injuries. I know every year we go through this where it's like, oh, no, this one's different. This one has the most.
Yep.
No. This one really, you had people like Saquon go down ACL after ACL, Nick Bosa. The Niners lost damn near half their team in one stadium, in MetLife Stadium. It is bananas right now with the injuries. Fam or nah, to what's going on here, does it make it, is the quality suffering at all? I don't know what your thoughts are. And then I also wanted to give you a bonus one. I wanted to surprise you a little with this one and want to get your thoughts. So this past weekend, the Eagles and the Bengals tied. And, you and I are fans of any time the Eagles suck it up,
Amen.
right? But they took a penalty and didn't attempt a field goal with a chance to win it in overtime. They punted the ball away, basically inviting the tie. So I wanted your take. Fam or not, a tie is better than a loss. So give me your overall, a quick fam or not, football so far, and a tie is better than a loss. Fam or not.
Right. So overall, I am a fam. I think NFL is handling it well. Just looming overbearer is COVID, but I am a fam. I feel like they've done it well. I feel like they have the protocols in place. I feel like teams and players are listening to said protocols. So I'm a fam in general. Russell Wilson he's been blacking out, man. He's just it's crazy.
So fucking annoying. Playing against Russell Wilson is the most annoying shit ever.
Yes, sir.
You almost have him for 10 sacks and he slips out somehow.
Houdini.
It's so fucking annoying. Listen, as an Ohio State fan, I'll always have that our shit team that went 500 beat them in the shoe. One of the best games I've ever witnessed in person. On Braxton Miller Hail Mary. So we'll always have
Go
that
Bucks, baby.
in his one season at Wisconsin.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
So go Bucks forever, but what the fuck ever, Russell.
Right. He's just blacking out. It's ridiculous. And I actually saw a stat earlier this weekend when I was watching the Cowboys and Hawks game that he has never gotten a single MVP vote from a single vote.
That's absolutely going to change because that has, like they're talking about that fact so much. It's like, who's going to
do it at this point? Yeah.
Who's going to not vote for him
But
again?
last year, the year before, when he was pretty much carrying a half decent Seahawks team, that just baffled me when I saw that. I was like, he didn't get one vote from any voter those last couple of years. That was just wild to me. Especially he's been the Seahawks last couple of years after their fall. But overall, fam to football. I am a nah fam to a tie being better than a loss. I like it straight. Give me that win, give me that loss, no matter what happens. I feel like a tie is so frustrating, especially in professional sports. I feel like a tie shouldn't happen in professional sports.
My middle school basketball coach said a tie is like kissing your sister. I mean, no disrespect.
I get it. 100%. Yeah, it's not the YMCA. This isn't little everybody gets a pat on the back for trying their hardest. This is professional sports we're talking about. And the fact that a tie is still in professional sports, let alone the NFL, is just wild and fucking stupid, in my opinion. And the fact that for 60 minutes and then for a quick, whatever the 5-minute overtime period is,
10 or whatever,
10 minutes, whatever it is, they just can't get a winner. It's just, it's a big nothing.
Listen, I'm a fam to football in general because, it's back and I feel weird saying it, but it's entertaining. Like, sit on my fat ass and eat all the snacks in my living room and turn on NFL Red Zone when the Cowboys aren't on.
Great.
And it's a great way to live, They're entertaining us. Seems crazy in these times, but I'll take it,
right.
But if you've played any level of sports, a tie fucking sucks. But if I'm thinking about it logically, especially the Eagles, right? We're talking about the NFC East, which is utter garbage right now. And I know everybody wants to remind it like it's supposed to get under NFC East fans' skin. Like, it's not fucking getting under our skin. Like, you guys telling us the NFC East sucks, we don't play for them. Right. Like, get the fuck over it. We can't do anything about it. Anyway, but I just have this strange feeling because the Cowboys are perpetually mediocre. That tie is going to come into play and going to be the reason the Cowboys are a half game behind the Eagles somehow. And that's where it fucking sucks. And that's where statistically, like, you can't argue that a tie is better than a loss. It's like, it absolutely is because it's a half a win. And it's 1/2 less of a loss.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
That's where I'm like torn, especially in this division. Like, I wouldn't fucking care. And I think it's fucking hilarious that the Eagles punted. It's like, wow, he literally didn't trust anyone on his offense. He punted it for a tie.
Congratulations.
That part is hilarious to me, but I digress.
Don't forget their future starting quarterback. They're just wasting away on the bench, and Jalen Hurts.
Oh, we got more on that later. Don't even get me started just yet. Okay, on to the college football. NCAA football is back. We even had the Big Ten football coming back in a few weeks. October 24th, Big Ten football is back. They're doing a 9-game season. I can't speak highly enough as a Buckeye fan. It was literally a grassroots movement to get that back. We were canceled. And the passion in Big Ten fans, players' parents, players in general, leaders like Justin Fields, it is directly a reason why the Big Ten is getting football and the fans are going to get to watch. So they're going to be back. The Pac-12 is going to be back, I believe, on November 6th. We'll see how that factors in to the playoffs. The NCAA declared that all teams are bowl eligible this year because of the weird season we have.
Wait a minute.
So we could theoretically get 2 winless teams playing a bowl game for all they care. And I'm for it because there's something called the Mayo Bowl, so you might as well give me 2 winless teams in the Mayo Bowl.
You're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
I think I'm safe to say that we're both fam, college football's back, and it's fam to go Bucks. 100%.
Hey, man, times 2 for that Go Bucks, baby.
Do, baby.
Amen.
Yeah.
So I won't spend too much time on that one. I want to get over to the NBA. I know we're going to talk about this a little. The new news was that the Clippers parted ways with Doc Rivers. So I wanted to get your take on, yeah, fam or not, the Doc Rivers firing. Is it fishy, not fishy? Like, what are your thoughts? And do you agree with the move? I personally am a not of this. I think Doc Rivers is, I mean, yes, he's blown a lot of series, but to scapegoat him when you have two fucking stars you built your team around, and it was a weird season interrupted, and you had big players leave. You had Lou Williams go get lemon pepper wings from a fucking strip club. You had Montrezl Harrell have a death in the family. He was gone. He's legitimately the NBA's sixth man. And you had Patrick Beverley's dumbass out for a while. Don't get me started on him. More on him later. I personally am a nod of Doc Rivers being fired, but I mean, I get what they're doing. It just seems like weird context to do it. I would have rather tweaked a few pieces on the roster and given him a chance in a full normal season. But what is your take on Doc Rivers firing?
I agree with you. I'm a not fan as well. I do have my criticism on Doc, but still, with that being said, I just feel like what you just said, that I feel like he should get a chance to, make some tweaks, get one more run at it, which is pretty much what the owner even said before the news broke of him being fired. Take one more run at it, make some tweaks, see what they can do before everybody can opt out or in or what have you. Definitely weird timing. I understand, NBA is a business, all sports are a business, and, everyone needs that scapegoat. And especially with them blowing the 3-1 leads, I get it. I get the firing, but definitely enough for him overall. I feel like he should have had one more season to retool, reload, and see if he can make something of it. But especially with the weirdness of this season and like the break and the bubble and what have you, definitely feel like he should have gotten a little.
All right, and last but not least, yeah, fam or nah, we got the NBA Finals matchup ready. It's the first time in history, I believe, that both teams making the finals missed the playoffs the previous year. The 5 seed Miami Heat against the number 1 seed Los Angeles Lakers. The Heat took very low odds and a star in Jimmy Butler, who was ousted in other franchises. They took that team to the finals behind Butler, behind Bam Adebayo, and a whole bunch of shooters. Lakers gentlemen swept their way through the Western Conference. It's their first final since 2010, and we already know their cast of characters is led by Anthony Davis and our boy LeGod James. I'm totally a yeah fan to this finals matchup. I think it's so fun. It's crazy. LeBron's playing his old team. I think it's full of interesting matchups, like how's Bam going to do against all the bodies that the Lakers have to throw against him? And how are the Lakers going to fare trying to rotate against like a team full of shooters? I'm very interested to see how that goes. And the Heat have legitimately nothing to lose. You already know who I'm riding with, but we'll get more on the picks later. I'm guessing you're yeah fam.
Big yeah fam, man. Big yeah fam. Of course, I ride with the boy LeGod, as we all know, in this family, in this part of the world that you're in.
What I want to know, my guy, you're big D-Wade guy,
yes,
right?
Yes.
If he was still on the Heat, how conflicted would you be, and who would you be?
Man, I knew that was gonna come. Yeah, D-Wade, my second favorite player of all time. My first favorite player of all time is currently playing for the title in LeJesus LeBron James. So
okay, that answers
it does. But man, that's just tough for me, man. I love D-Wade. He was my first real jersey. He was, I was definitely not a guard whenever I played basketball, but I would always act like I was because of D-Wade.
That's like perpetual big dude thing. We always wanted to be a guard, never could.
But yeah, I'd have to go. Yeah, I'd ride with LeBron. I'd ride with LeBron, but that hurts. I knew that was coming, and it hurt.
I had to do it to you. All right, man. Now's the main event. You already know what time it is. We've been on a hiatus, but the pettiness doesn't stop. Never. We need the Joker to hit it.
I'm petty as hell. And I'm super petty.
Here we
Petty Le Pew.
go.
That's right. It's time for You Played Yourself, baby. Without further ado, I got a lot to get off my chest. I know you got a few tricks up your sleeve. So I'm going to give you a couple, and then I'll let you go, and I'll finish it up, hopefully strong, and try to do you proud.
Yes,
here.
sir. Always, brother. Always do.
I figure it's a nice segue. You played yourself. I need to address the so-called NBA experts, right? So this NBA Finals we just talked about is all well and good, but man, the real NBA Finals featuring the NBA's best player, Kawhi Leonard, and the Clippers, and the NBA's very deserving MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm sorry, Giannis, crown me Antetokounmpo. Should be a real good one, shouldn't it?
Congratulations.
I can't fucking get over how LeBron is held to this unbelievable, unreal, crazy standard. First, it was him playing in the Eastern Conference all these years, right? Like, it's not a big deal. He got to the finals against who? Like, there's no one fucking over there. Then, y'all want us to think he wasn't the best when he got hurt for the first time last year and a team of his missed the playoffs and the first time in like a decade.
Amen.
This year, in the bubble, he was eliminated after going down 1-0 in both rounds. You guys wanted to say, what the hell's wrong with the Lakers, right? You know, Dame Dolla is really going to eliminate him here. The Houston Rockets got 2 former MVPs. The Nuggets, man, Jokic and Murray, you know, they're really going to get him. Meanwhile, y'all's best players, you know, you think it's fucking Kawhi Leonard, who left Toronto, left a title, to go to this sorry-ass Clippers team that blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. Y'all's best player is yelling Cancun on 3. And then y'all's fucking MVP over here, Giannis, who wanted to crown himself in a fucking regular season game, is at home too. Lost to the Heat. Got owned by the Heat. In fact, the only game that his Milwaukee Bucks won was a game in which he didn't play. That's how good your fucking MVP is. That's how fucking good he is. Listen, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. The teams that take the regular season matchups way too serious aren't doing shit in the playoffs. Giannis wanted you to think that he wears the crown in the NBA. LeBron said, no. You didn't even make it to play me. You didn't even earn the fucking right to play me, Giannis. Not even in my league. And then you disrespect LeBron James with fucking 16 first place votes in the MVP. Give me a fucking break, man. Could you even imagine thinking LeBron James isn't the best player in the world? Could you even imagine thinking LeBron James isn't the most valuable player in the world? LeBron is going to his 9th NBA Finals in 10 years and 10th overall. He has more finals appearances than a lot of franchises do. He's now taking his 3rd franchise to the NBA Finals. And meanwhile, if you want any indication of how valuable he is, look at the fucking teams after he left. They're not even close. And immediately when he joins a team, they're fucking finals contender. Could you even fucking imagine? Like, you guys seriously fucking thought LeBron James wasn't going to make the finals. You seriously wanted me to think the fucking Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George's broke playoff ass was going to beat him. No, they didn't even earn the right to play LeGod. You thought Giannis and his 2-time MVP non-jump shooting ass was going to make it through? Give me a fucking break. Then he wants to hold up a fucking newspaper back-to-back MVPs. Fuck out of here. Not my MVP.
Amen.
On that same note, I need fucking Patrick Beverley to come to the front of the congregation. This man talks too much goddamn shit for him to be radio silent when it's time to face the music. He's like the Stephen A. Smith of NBA players. He talks all his shit when it's convenient, and when he gets his own ass handed to him, when the Clippers get their shit tossed, he's nowhere to be found. Nowhere. He doesn't answer to any of the shit he talked. He wanted to yap all that noise, right? All that fucking noise, and you can't find him. It's a fucking Stephen A. Smith. All right, let me take a breather, Sonny. You go, and then I got a few football ones to get off my chest. So your turn to get some mic therapy. You played yourself, man. I know this is what you're most excited about, so go for it.
Thank you. Real quick, though, to piggyback off what you just said, Patrick Beverley, he plays like he has a backpack on him at all times, number one. And that's all I got to say about
fucking
Beverley.
Ash Ketchum out there.
All bark, no bite, as the great Westbrook said. And then number two, I've you know how big I am on LeBron, just like everybody in our fam. And just, imagine that he is not the best player, bro. Like, just imagine, I saw his game what was it, game 5 stat line. It was like 24, 8, 7, couple steals, and I literally was mad at him. I literally was like, wow, that's a bad game. like
imagine that.
Yes, exactly. Like his standard that even I have for everybody has for him is just, it's wild to me. It's wild to me that I thought a 24, 26, 7, and 8 stat line was bad in a win at that. So like that's his standard. Like that's his standard of, that's what he needs to do to consider that he's coasting by, and that's just baffling to me. And like looking back on that, I laughed at myself. I'm like, wow, I really thought he had a bad game, and then I look at the stat sheet and it's stuffed. So it's just wild to me. Yeah, just to piggyback off you, the biggest you played yourself for me is, as you knew was coming, the Dallas Cowboys, the city of Dallas.
Who?
Who? Mr. Jerry Jones. That whole damn organization has been playing themselves for decades at that, but let's get into this past week. Biggest you played yourself, yeah, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, who I quote yesterday said, "Oh, our secondary is fine. We love what we have in-house, and we think that we can keep on carrying on with them."
Who?
Really, 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 really. 3 straight weeks of, number one, Jared Goff blowing us out the water. Imagine that.
Fucking Jalen Ramsey's acting.
Oh, my God.
My God,
Where's his Oscar? But after being torched by Goff, by Matt Ryan, by Russell Wilson, you're going to have the audacity to stand up there at media day and be like, yeah, we're good. We don't need a safety. We don't need a corner. We're fine. We're only 32nd out of 32 teams in pass defense. We only give up the highest quarterback rating through 3 games out of all 32 teams. But yeah, we're good. We don't need anybody, right? That's just, I just can't, man. I just can't. With Stephen Jones is playing himself left, right, up, down, backwards, forwards, to see what we have in house. And yeah, we're good. No, good sir, we're not. Our offense, great, but our defense is literally dead last. And we put up 40 points, we give up 41. It's just, we can't get a break as a loyal fan base and loyal to fans.
There's legitimately fucking Earl Thomas wants to play for the Cowboys.
He literally begged Jerry Jones or Jason Garrett, who must not be named 2 years ago, "Hey, come get me. I would love to play for my hometown team." What do we do out of that lost off season? Nothing. Which I understandably get because he wanted a fat deal. But he gets cut by Baltimore, and we can sign him for nothing. And we're good. We're fine. Only one of the best safeties.
We're good with who we have.
We're good with who we have. Yeah, fucking De'Arian Thompson.
These guys aren't even on the fucking TV screen when they blow a coverage. They're not within a fucking TV screen, a camera shot length of being close to a receiver. They're blowing coverage that bad. They've blown a season's worth of, probably 2 seasons worth of coverages in 3 weeks. And we are fine with who we have. Could you imagine like any other person doing a job that badly and being like, actually, I think they're doing a good enough job. Like they're literally failing in every sense of the word. Like they're not even close.
It looks like punt return coverage, bro. When Tyler Lockett and Metcalf were catching their touchdown passes, it literally looked like our cornerbacks were playing punt coverage. That's how far back they were.
At least, there's COVID outbreaks. The Cowboys their defense has no danger of having a COVID outbreak because they haven't been fucking close enough to an opposing offense to be able to catch it.
Yeah, they practice social distancing very well, brother. Very.
Like too fucking well.
I know we're going to touch on Cowboys later, so I'll leave it at that. But man,
I kind of added on to it. That was one on mine. I got another couple NFL ones. All right. So I wanted you play yourself to teams that drafted quarterbacks early. So I got a few of them. First up, the Green Bay Packers. I still can't believe that they drafted Aaron Rodgers' replacement in round 1 instead of giving him any bit of help. Like he's out here balling so far. They're 3-0. But they use their top pick on a guy who can't see the field because their guy is doing so. They legitimately just didn't get him a replacement. And then You go over to Philadelphia. You mentioned him earlier. So Carson Wentz is fucking sucking. Like, I mean, flat out. I don't doubt he might get his shit together. But Doug Peterson doesn't want to entertain even questions about Jalen Hurts. And he seems annoyed by being asked. You fucking drafted the guy with the second round pick. Like, if you didn't want to invite the questions, don't fucking draft him. You had all these people to pick from. It's not like you had Mr. Irrelevant. It wasn't like the last guy available. You chose to take him. Answer the fucking question. And then you have the Chicago Bears. It's like, I won't pour it on too much because somehow they're undefeated. But do you remember they moved from 3 to 2 in that draft to get Mitch Trubisky?
Congratulations, yourself.
Because they're convinced the Niners were going to take him.
My goodness.
In the same fucking... That was the same fucking draft that Mahomes and Watson won, isn't it?
Yes, sir. They could have kept their extra draft capital. It's still...
I mean, kudos to them to realizing, and they signed Nick Foles, I guess. So I guess good for them. But I mean, Mitch Trubisky. That's it. That's the breakdown. That's what I have. And I won't harp on it too much. But you played yourself, Atlanta Falcons. It's like I don't want to pour it onto the Falcons because I honestly feel for their fans, and this is coming from a perpetually disappointed Cowboys fan. I genuinely feel sorry for the losses that they have incurred. Like, that collapse against the Cowboys is the most improbable thing I've ever seen. I mean, we all know the stats by now. The teams were 440-0 previously if you have 39 points and no turnovers, all that stuff. But then they followed it up the next week, speaking of the Bears, by blowing a lead against them.
Big Dick Nick, baby.
Wait a minute.
It's crazy.
Wait a minute.
It's crazy. I feel for Falcons fans, honestly. So you played yourself as to them, but, I mean, what are you going to do? I guess that's perspective.
It's a Kanye shrug at that point for those two.
Right. I guess we'll never know. All right. Let's move on to who you got and what you feeling. So the previous episode, it's been a minute, but it was part of our quarantine edition with the misses. And this was when football was dire. So we talked about what we'd miss most if we didn't have college football. And we were feeling pretty down at the time, but it's kind of crazy to think that in that little bit of time that we got it back. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, hope so, man. I hope it stays.
I'm chock full of good segues here. I was kind of talking about it with the Falcons. It's a nice segue into who you got for this week. I want to get your take. Who's got the hotter seat, Adam Gase or Dan Quinn? So obviously the Jets are fucking trash. Their roster's trash. Not doing anything to help Sam Darnold. They're probably just trying to get Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Adam Gase has got big bug eyes. I don't know what's going on with him. And then Dan Quinn, we just talked about the Falcons blowing leads. Who's got the hotter seat, in your opinion?
Definitely think it's Dan Quinn. Adam Gase, like, I never know what New York teams are doing in any sport. So, yeah, I don't think Adam Gase is in too much trouble. I think it's, again, another shrug whether he stays or he goes. But definitely Dan Quinn has a hotter seat, in my opinion. Off these last 2 weeks alone, there's evidence that he needs to be out of there. There's evidence that right there that he doesn't have his locker room anymore. He doesn't have his players. He doesn't have any type of control or will over them. Losing.
So I agree 100% because when in doubt, like if we're picking a hotter seat, it's the team with the better roster. Yep. The Falcons have too good of a roster to be losing games like this. Those are the type of teams where you see like mid-season moves. Whereas, like, if a team's shitty, you're just going to be like, all right, just ride it out the whole season, or they'll get fired, like, the second to last week. All right, I'll save what we're most excited about for last. So I wanted to do a college football pick because with this abbreviated season, there's some good matchups every week. Not that there isn't before, but we're already in a conference play. So I thought a fun game to pick would be number 7, Auburn, traveling to Athens, Georgia, facing number 4 Georgia. Georgia is a 7-point favorite. They're both 1-0. Obviously, week 1 of SEC was last week. Auburn is coming off a big win versus Kentucky. That was thought to be kind of like almost a toss-up. Kentucky is supposed to have a pretty good season this year. So who you got?
I'm going to take the quote-unquote underdog. I'm going to take Auburn. All right. That's really just more of me saying out of gut feeling. I don't really have any evidence to back that up, to be frank with you. But I think Auburn's going to come in there, and I think they're going to... I don't think home field is going to be too much of a thing. So I think Auburn's going to come in there and win. I'm going to say 24-21 Auburn.
Okay, I dig it. I'm kind of leaning towards the same thing because fans are limited, especially. Yeah. I gotta say that I think Bo Nix is a little bit more exciting at quarterback, and Auburn always has a legit defense, so I think I'm gonna go with Auburn as well. I'm gonna say 21-20 Auburn, a little last second magic.
Okay.
Since they love being dramatic.
I was just about to say that they love their last minute theatrics.
Yeah, so we're both going with not only the cover but the outright win for underdog Auburn. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, now the main event. I wanted to get your take here. NBA Finals. Who wins? How many games? Give me your prediction.
Lakers in 1.
Lakers in 1, baby.
I think it's going to be Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6. I feel the the Heat, they have a great team. They have a great coach, a coach who knows LeBron, a coach who has been known to kind of wrangle LeBron in back in his days in Miami and kind of control it and kind of calm him and what have you. They Spo and the Heat know how to play LeBron, but there's a guy named Anthony Davis now that plays with LeBron. So I keep seeing it on Twitter, the LeBron wall, how Miami plays their defense and breaks LeBron down. That's great. That is fantastic, but you're going to put 3 people on LeBron who's guarding Anthony Davis. Is Spo going to come out and run the zone? I think it's going to be a tough series. I think the Heat are a great team. They're a fun team. I love how they play. But I just think the Lakers' star power is going to be too much to wrangle in for a whole 5, 6, 7 game series, and that's going to be the difference.
All right, I was going to pick the exact same thing as you, but effort to be a little different. I'm going to go with the Lakers in 5.
Okay.
I wasn't going to go with the same as you, but I agree with you with the Anthony Davis matchup, kind of similar to the Nuggets. You have one real true big man in Bam Adebayo, and the Lakers have a lot of bodies to throw at them. I get it. They won't be able to play all of them at once, but Anthony Davis affords them that ability to kind of have him stretch the floor a little bit. The Lakers shooters are going to have to show up. They're going to have to match the Heat because the Heat can get hot at any time. They have Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, amongst others. Goran Dragic's playing amazing. So you're going to need big series out of Rondo. Danny Green's actually going to have to make a fucking decent percentage on threes. Same with KCP. It's going to take everyone. They're going to work on trying to stop LeBron. And obviously, like you said, Eric Spoelstra has experience coaching him. He's a fantastic coach. He's shown that with scheme against certain defenders. So they're going to have to adjust. And you're used to kind of the Lakers starting a little slow in some of these series. They're not going to be able to afford to do that.
So gentleman's sweep for the whole playoffs. That's what you call it.
That's why, and when in doubt, I had to go with just, keep it consistent.
Love it.
But I would say I lean more towards your pick, but I just want to be a little different here since we're agreeing too much.
I know, right? Interesting.
All right, man. So what have you been feeling lately? What do you got for me? I know it's not the Cowboys, so what else?
That's the last thing I'm feeling right now, brother. On the sports world, I'm feeling just sports in general. I'm feeling that feeling like we talked about earlier, where you're kind of just hanging out on the weekend. You're watching the sports. You have Red Zone on Saturdays. You have College Game Day. You have all the college games on cycle. So it's a little bit of a cop out. So I might give you a little bit of a two-way answer. So generally speaking, sports being back, I love it. That's just me on the weekends in the fall. That's just what I do. And then to take it off of sports, I have been playing, during this quarantine. I've been getting back to my nerdy gamer roots. And so I've been feeling video games lately. I'm gonna switch it up on you. I'm gonna throw you a little curveball.
What are you playing?
I've been playing Apex Legends, and I've been playing this game called Spellbreak. Word to Harry Potter, baby. It's not really a Harry Potter game, but
Spellbreak sounds super nerdy, bro.
You know what? I embrace it. I embrace my nerdy roots.
Damn.
But Apex has been my go-to. It's just like Call of Duty, Fortnite. It's like a shooter battle royale game.
All right.
Take it off sports for a second.
Word.
Of course, Madden 2K, that's always there, but
for sure.
Shout out to the nerds, baby. Shout out to the nerds.
All of us got to try to get those new systems, get on those pre-orders.
Boy, I'm about to be on a payment plan for that Xbox, but it's fine.
I know, right? Take out a fucking mortgage, second mortgage. Listen, I'm feeling I had to do it. Like Ohio State football being back, I can't describe to you it. that feeling of like, oh, we really aren't going to have a season, and then getting it back when it just seemed like it wasn't going to happen. I thought I wasn't going to get to see Justin Fields play. I thought it was going to be a one-and-done season. He never wavered. Didn't even think about declaring early. He was an integral part. And then we had 2 players when it was looking dire declared for the draft, and even they decided to come back once the news broke. Wyatt Davis and Shaun Wade are bona fide first-round picks, and we get them back. I mean, when I described to you the excitement around Columbus, even though a lot of people won't be in games and around the stadium and all that, hopefully people are responsible watching games, by the way, my PSA. But the talent on this roster is legitimate. I mean, they are deep at every position.
Literally.
And yes, you lost some crazy high draft picks, but they have even more coming, and they have some crazy skill position players. I mean, you're talking about 2 big receivers coming back in Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, and then they added basically 3 5-star receivers, true freshmen to the fold. You have Justin Fields, Heisman contender, Master Teague at running back. They have a lot to replace him with. J.K. Dobbins, who's 2,000-yard back. You got Master Teague coming in. He looks like a robot. He's so large. And then they got a transfer from Oklahoma, Trey Sermon. Then over on defense, you got Shaun Wade, like we mentioned. Baron Browning at linebacker is going to have a big year. We lost Chase Young, incredible talent, but it's going to be like an attempt to replace him by committee because that position group on the D-line is always good, led by their position coach, Larry Johnson. He's coached a lot of players that are playing on Sundays now. They're deep at that position, and they have no reason. Like, it's legitimate expectation to be in the playoff. Like, anything other than that is
at least the playoff.
The roster's just too good, and I am very excited. I'm a little nervous with like no fans and all that. It's going to help with some away games, but not having that energy at home, kind of, I'm worried about that impact a little. Like, kind of have those sleepy starts to games. Yeah. So I'm just hoping that this little motivation where they almost got the season taken from them is enough of a chip on the shoulder that they don't. They always want the fans, but that they don't need that little extra from the home crowd. So I'm so pumped about it. I can't even describe to you. I'm sure. I mean, you're a Buckeye fan too, but it's just like around Columbus.
I can't imagine.
It's just this buzz when we have that football going on, and can't describe to you how bummed it was when we were thinking it wasn't going to happen. So that's what I'm feeling. And, you know, I like to wrap up each episode, my little advice that you didn't ask for, my too much sense. This week, I wanted to kind of give a little reassurance to people, and it's kind of like a reminder for myself. Most of this advice is like either things I've been through or experienced or things I need to work on myself. So this week, I want to say, at some point, you have to accept letting people come to you. So when things aren't going right and you've tried everything, you got to just trust the effort you've already made and the good that you deserve that's supposed to come your way. You got to trust that you've put out enough good that it's going to come back to you. It's things I need to be reminded on. Sometimes I push too hard, and sometimes you just got to trust the effort you put in and let it come back to you in a whole karma type of deal. So that's my too much sense for today.
Love it. That's it.
This has been a fire episode, my guy. I appreciate you joining me. First time, long time. My cousin, Sonny, joined me.
Oh, we're just getting started, brother. We're just getting started.
You know, they thought 2 Cowboys fans would be too much, but maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But either way, that's why they call it Prem Brulee. It's the #1 podcast in your headphones. You tune in for a reason. You want to hear 2 people pissed about the fucking Cowboys. Whether you enjoy it, you might enjoy our demise, whatever. We're here for you. I want to thank you, my bro, for coming on.
Brother. Nope, thanks.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you letting me talk my shit for a little bit. You know, it's always good talking to you in general. So I love being on it.
Yes, sir. Some microphone therapy.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. And I get if Cowboys keep fucking up, I'll send you my little sound bites. So it might not be the last time you hear me.
Oh, I definitely won't. But you already know, you #1 podcast listeners. I know it's been a minute. I apologize. I'm going to try to make it regular. Life gets crazy in these weird times. So I apologize. I am going to try to make it more regular now that sports are more regular. I wanted to give a few things their ability to breathe, as we talked about before. So you know the drill, though. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We appreciate you, #1 podcast listeners. And We'll talk to you next time.